we ain't seen nothing yet. This is just the beginning, just a precursor for what is actually coming. It's a 5-year plan. It runs from 2020 until March 31st, 2025, according to their own documents. By September, I think things are going to be really starting to be noticed by people. And that's only about 6 weeks away, so that's an interesting thing. By the end of next year, I think we're going to be living in a pretty different reality. You know, I doubt that I'll ever be travelling again. I don't think travel's going to be possible anymore. I've been warning people. I've been saying, look, there's a train coming, and you know, you've got to get off the tracks. And you know, people are still on the tracks, still arguing about the shape of the tracks, whatever. And the train is hit now. So, you know, either we seize this opportunity to become free, or we face the reality that a lot of people simply aren't going to do it, which is why you need to have a plan B. And I'm not being defeatist through any of this, folks. I'm just, you know, looking out for myself and looking out for those who listen to this show. I think it's important that people do have a plan B, folks. It's all about the transformation ritual, folks. I just want you to cover your face and put yourself under house arrest. Cover your face, isolate yourself, wash your hands all the time. Been a lot of people talk about this transformation ritual, this occult ritual that this whole thing really is. There was a great report that came out by Truth Stream Media a couple of months ago, which talked about the transformation ritual, you know, the cleansing, the isolation, the wearing of masks, all to what they do to slaves when they transition them into a new reality. And once you go into that new reality, you can never go back to the old reality. That's what they're doing, folks. As I've said on so many previous occasions, they're falsifying the figures through all this as well. There's actually a report I saw, it mentioned a guy who died in a motorcycle crash, but he was on the COVID death list. And when it was questioned, they didn't take him off the death list. And the official, whoever it was, his explanation as to why they didn't take him off the COVID death list, well, they've got to question whether perhaps it was the COVID that caused him to have the motorcycle accident.
The first one didn't have any. He died in a motorcycle accident.
Orange County Health Officer Dr. Raul Pino telling us one person reported to have died from COVID was killed in a motorcycle accident. So was it removed from the data?
I don't think so. I have to double check. We were arguing. We were discussing and trying to argue with the state. It could have been the COVID-19 that caused him to crash. It could have been the COVID-19 that caused him to crash.
I mean, you can't make this stuff up, folks. They're just using anything they can. You know, and they're even doing mainstream news reports now saying, oh, you know, not many people have died from the flu this year because of all the measures we've taken to protect ourselves from COVID. We've saved all these people's lives from flu deaths. That's why there's no flu deaths this year. No, folks, all the flu deaths are still happening. They're just recategorizing it as COVID-19. That's the way they do it, folks, and the way they've done with this motorcycle accident. And ignorance is a choice these days, folks. I mean, really, if people are not aware of the information out there and they're not aware of what's going on, really it's their choice. You know, you've done your best, we've all done our best, and as important as it is to continue to attempt to wake people up, it's also important to look after yourself and to get yourself to high ground and to have a plan B in place. The sleeping masses will lead the rest of the people into the slaughter pit simply by matter of course, and we can sit there and pull at their hands and tug at their sleeves all we like, but eventually we'll just get dragged in there with it. That's the grim reality of the situation, folks. You know, you've got to have a plan B.